Welcome, beautiful people, and thank you for joining us on Till the Wheels Fall Off, a podcast by Two Folk Couple. I'm Matt.
And I'm Paige.
And we're here to inspire others, to bring you guys into our lives and tell you a little bit about our journey. Over 20 years together, we've learned a few things.
We're going to work toward being the best version of yourself possible. We're going to dig into building a positive mindset, discuss mental health, addiction recovery, improving fitness, building businesses, and insight into what it takes to navigate life today.
Welcome back to Till the Wheels Fall Off, podcast by Two Folk Couple. Today's episode, we are going to discuss the simplest way to better yourself. Spoiler alert, it's fitness. But don't turn this off. Don't turn this off. Don't turn this podcast off. If I titled this podcast, How to Guarantee Happiness, Improve Your Sex Life, Find Confidence, Better Your Business and Leadership Skills in 6 months, everyone would tune in and they would be curious. But if you say this is a podcast about fitness, people are going to scoff at it and be like,
dun, dun, dun.
I'm out of here. I don't
Another
need
one
that.
of these.
Miss me with that, right? So stay with me here. So you need fitness in your life.
Yeah.
You need fitness in your life. If you already have it, you know what I'm saying. If you don't have it yet, or you think you're just not one of those people, just hear us out. So the benefits of fitness are far-reaching, far more than just the improved reflection in the mirror. I think a lot of us set out early on to just have our clothes fit better, or, you know, I want to fit in this dress for the wedding, or whatever it may be. Yeah, bikini season, swimsuit season, and those are like the superficial reasons that a lot of us start. And I'm not saying it's a bad reason to start,
Right.
But studies show that exercise improves mental health by reducing anxiety, depression, and negative mood, and by improving self-esteem and cognitive function. So it's great for your body. It's great for your mind. It's great for your soul. There's no net negatives here.
No.
So it's also been found to alleviate symptoms such as low self-esteem and social withdrawal. Coming off of 2020 and most of 21, social withdrawal was a very real thing. Some introverts never got back in the game.
Yeah.
This is an outstanding way to get back in the game. So being physically fit, it not only increases your physical stamina and endurance, but as well as your mental stamina and endurance. When you set off on a physical challenge, your mind has to go with it. Your mind must follow the physical challenge. So as you're working through a tough workout or any kind of athletic endeavor, it's a mental game.
Yeah.
Your mind will quit long before your body ever will. Like, your mind will be screaming at you to stop. And this is the game. This is the game we're playing. And that's why we're talking about it. It's how to overcome challenges and to build your confidence as you do hard things. Mm-hmm. And a healthy leader also inspires their employees. I think that both the attributes we just discussed of having physical stamina and endurance, it's your mental stamina and endurance are attributes of an effective leader. And you've got to have both. A healthy leader inspires their employees to work toward being more fit. And we saw this in our company. Your employees are more energetic and you'll get less sick days from them.
Yep.
And you will get happier employees. It's just, like I said, there's no net negative to fitness. And so show me a reason this is a bad thing.
Well, but it seems like nowadays it's almost taboo to be fit.
It is weird.
Like we look at people, or some people look at fit people and they're like, I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to do that. That person is crazy.
Yeah,
because they have a fit body. I mean, it's just kind of messed up the way that we look at people these days.
Yeah, if I had $1 for every time someone looked at what I was eating for lunch and said something smart ass, I would have more dollars than I could count.
Yeah, and the only reason I can say these things is because I was that person.
Totally. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So briefly, why should you listen to us about it? Because we had a life prior to fitness that looked much like most of America. So that's why I think if you're going to listen to anybody about fitness, take our advice here. I think that we represent a great cross-section of the average person, right? Neither one of us have a crazy athletic background. I mean, I've been athletic at times in my life, and you have too.
Right.
but never on a competitive level or never
Consistently?
No, never consistently, never at a high level, certainly never at a high level.
Yeah.
So I think that we've come a long way, long way. And we can show you how. We can show you the benefits of it all. So Paige, I'd like for you first to give sort of what your life looked like before fitness.
Okay, well, like you said, I did have some active times in my life. So I was a dancer growing up, but I ended up quitting when I was about 14 years old. And then...
About the time you met me.
Yes, when I met Matt, actually.
I'm
Wow.
a goal killer.
I never really put that together. Thanks, dear. And I also grew up with a family where we actually ate pretty healthy. I mean, my mom was really great at making healthy meals for us. But as soon as I left the house at 18 years old and I moved in with Matt, I didn't gain the extra 15 pounds. I gained the extra 30 pounds because I loved Taco Bell and I went crazy on eating food and I was not active. And this was also around the time when I had my very first panic attack. My anxiety levels were coming up pretty high. There was one point when Matt told me, this was at a dinner. He doesn't remember
She's
this.
never going to, I know where you're going with this. You're never going to let this die.
But it's not a bad thing that you did this. He made a comment to me about my weight. I don't remember specifically what he said. I just know that he was concerned with my happiness because of my weight.
We've always had an open relationship.
I'm not dogging you for
relationship,
this.
open dialogue.
Not that way.
Open dialogue about just honesty and authenticity. And,
right.
And I would tell her, like, if I'm slipping, I just want you to let me know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can't see it ourselves. So I leaned on you for it. And I was doing much the same thing. But guys, I'm serious. Like behind the scenes, this comes up often.
Yeah. Whenever I'm mad, sometimes
way.
I'll bring it up. But that's just the craziness in me that whatever. But I actually took it hard. It stung when he told me, but I did something with it. I started Weight Watchers. That was my first thing that I did.
Yeah.
So I was about
that.
20 years old and I did Weight Watchers. I lost the weight pretty quickly and I was doing really well, but it wasn't a sustainable program because you're constantly having to count stuff. So I probably did Weight Watchers off and on for 10 years.
Yeah, you did it really heavy though for about a year and did pretty well.
No, I did great. But then of course I got off of it and I was eating junk again and Taco Bell and I wasn't active. Matt tried to get me active. We would go longboarding. Yeah, that's a fun story. We would do
broken ribs.
Yeah. Busted my ass. Never again. Yeah. And play basketball and we would get active sometimes. It was hard though for me because I was a poon. I was a big baby about getting active. You remember, like, I was mean to you.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, my weight would fluctuate up and down and then I got up again. And right before we got married, I needed to lose weight. So I did something very unhealthy and that was take Adderall.
Took my Adderall.
Yes, I took Matt's Adderall.
I had plenty.
Matt was addicted to Adderall for a while too.
Amongst other things.
Yes, he was, speedballing for a while. But I did, and for me, Adderall is awful because I can't even handle caffeine.
If there was ever a person that didn't need it.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
The worst drug for you ever.
I did lose a lot of weight and I looked pretty good, but it was not worth it. I do not recommend it. It is not healthy. You could have major heart problems by doing this. So after we got married, I gained the weight back within 6 months, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
We've been together so long, I don't even remember.
No, he doesn't remember that time. So anyway, after that, had babies, got really big with my first kid and had major stretching. I mean, I gained probably 70 pounds maybe. I don't know. I stopped getting on the scale. So I gained a lot of weight. Was miserable after I had her. Couldn't lose the weight again. Tried Adderall for a while, but that didn't work. I was just starving myself. So I went through all of that. Had our second kid. I was doing a little bit better, but it still was yo-yoing for the past 8 years. Yeah, because our son is 8 now. So then something changed.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that you were also one of these people that was fairly convinced that your body was just different and the typical diet type stuff just didn't work for you.
Oh yeah. And I was at a point in my life where I was like seeing everybody be happy. I'm doing quotes right there, being unhealthy, eating bad foods would make you happy. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life.
Just YOLO.
I'm okay. YOLO. But deep down, I was not happy. There was something missing from my life. And it's not about the way I looked. It was about the way I felt in my skin.
Yeah. My and that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. My journey
welcome.
was a little different. Well, but the same. I grew up a fat kid, actually. I grew up a heavy kid. I was always a heavy kid. I found early, so as I have an addictive personality, I think it's something that's always been in me. I found early on that when I didn't like the way I felt, that I could eat comfort foods, and I just felt better, man. It's just warm, fuzzy, cozy feeling, and the bad feelings would go away. I was always a heavy kid. It was, girls really weren't into me. That hurt. I didn't like the way my clothes fit, how other kids could wear certain things, and they just didn't look the same on me, right? I had a big jug head and just not a good look for me. Probably about high school, I figured out that if I just starved myself, that I would look better. So I would eat like very little and just once a day, no exercise whatsoever. And I could sort of maintain a physique doing that.
Mm-hmm. You started rollerblading to my house or riding your bike.
Yeah, before I had a car, I would ride a bike and rollerblade to her house. And so I guess I did it sort of healthy there for a little bit. It was a lot of exercise, but diet was an afterthought. I just ate whatever I wanted to.
Yeah.
When I got into, I guess, probably high schoolish, college, I found out about pharmaceuticals and Adderall, which is a type of amphetamine, and I kept weight off. I lost a lot of weight doing that.
Yeah.
It's a very unhealthy way to do it too. I got super skinny.
You didn't look healthy.
No, I didn't look healthy. I looked sick. I mean, I was super skinny. And this is all to say that, my drug habits, they flourished. And I found all kinds of other drugs to use as well. And when I finally got so clean and sober in 2013, I gained 75 pounds, I think, my first year sober. Mm-hmm. And I was in the worst shape of my life. I'm 6 feet tall, right at 6 feet tall. And I was probably 250, 240, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, stretch marks and just, my mind was in a good place. Spiritually, I was in a good place because I'd spent my first year sober working on myself. But I'd learned a lot of things about myself, and that my addictive personality didn't just start and end with drugs. It was any substance that gave me that feeling of comfort to hide emotion. So sugar was my big one.
Oh yeah.
Still is to this day. It's still a battle. I got out of hand, and I had to find a way to get fit. And so I joined a CrossFit gym actually, and I learned about community and how important a community is whenever you're going through your weight loss journey and your fitness journey. And then I just, God, how many diets have I gone through? Let me think. Paleo. I wrote these down here. Paleo, Whole30, vegan, keto, ancestral, macros, and there's probably like 10 others I've just forgotten at this point. But I experimented with a lot of different things, and then from CrossFit I went to a few other things. But this is all to say, fitness is extremely important to us today.
Yeah.
For more reasons than just what the mirror shows us or what the scale shows us. As a matter of fact, I don't even pay attention to the scale. I couldn't care any less what the scale says. So why do people need fitness? Why are we sitting here preaching you about fitness? Well, if you're like about 40% of Americans, maybe higher than that, I think it's probably higher than, I'd venture to say half.
Yeah.
You're out of shape. You're borderline obese, or you're at the very least over on your BMI. Physical fitness and mental fitness also go hand in hand. So mental health is also at an all-time low. 83% of Americans say it's easier to open up if someone else goes first. So here it goes. I struggle. We struggle.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. We are here too.
Yeah.
This is why we do this.
Mm-hmm.
57% of adults experience some form of, 57% of adults that experience some form of mental illness did not receive mental health services in the last year. This is through COVID and everything else. So 60% of these people aren't doing anything about it. And this is just for the state of Texas. I found these stats because we're in Texas, but 1 in 5 Texans experience a form of mental illness in a given year. So 20%. Getting in shape will make you better here. This isn't to say that fitness is a cure-all for true therapy.
Absolutely.
Or for having a mindset program, but it will get you closer, and it will cure a lot of the ails like anxiety and feeling less than and
it'll
self-esteem.
help with that. Yeah.
it will get you much further along toward your goal than you ever thought it would. Just this one thing. You'll learn how to deal with situations that used to completely baffle you. You'll have a newfound sense of self-confidence that you never thought was possible. You'll find out what you're made of in areas, and you're going to excel in areas of your life that you just never dreamed possible. You will be happier. That I promise you. You will be happier. So, like, why is it a bad thing? Like, right? Why? Where's the stigma with all this?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And what's crazy about this is when you get better, you'll find that everyone around you gets better too, which is sort of like a tongue-in-cheek way of saying that you're the problem. like when we get better, everything just, magically gets better. But it's because your perception of the world is going to change. And your perception of people around you, you'll have patience. You just get better. It's an investment in yourself, and it's far more reaching, and it's got positive repercussions for those around you. You're going to learn to respect yourself, and you're going to gain the respect of others. And engaging with others in a like-minded journey is also going to strengthen your network when it comes to business and your social network. It's going to build that. It's going to fill that gap too.
Right. And you will have haters, but you learn how to deal with that so much better, which is one of my favorite parts about this journey.
What do they say? If you don't have haters, you ain't doing something right.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So all this said, okay, but how did we do it? What's the best way to do it? I've told you about my journey where I've kind of had this hodgepodge of different philosophies, but Paige found something in January, and I'd like for you to tell the story about how you came across this and how it's become so important to us.
Okay, so back in December, I was about 171 pounds.
December of 21?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about 171 pounds. I'm 5'2", so I was pretty heavy. I was scrolling through Facebook, and I had a Facebook friend post some before and after pictures, and I was in shock. I don't know. I think it took her about 3 months to get to where she was, and I was like, is this for real or not?
Yeah, because her before and afters was like, what's the catch? Like, they were crazy.
Yeah, they were crazy. It was amazing. And I was like, okay, I need to do some research on this program that she's doing. It just seems too good to be real. So I did some research. I asked her a couple of questions, and then I jumped on the round in January, and it's called E2M Fitness.
Your first question was, is this an MLM? Is this one of those things
Yes.
where like I have to sign up 5 people and then...
Yes, with no hate to MLMs. It's just I've been in one, and I'm just not doing it again.
Not about that life anymore.
No, I learned a lot from that, but that's a different story. Yeah, that was my main focus because I wanted something that was going to just focus on me and what I needed to get done. So I hopped in, and it was pretty overwhelming at first. I was scared because I thought I was going to fail. And that was my all or nothing thinking.
Yeah, that's something that keeps people from ever getting started. Is this fear of failure.
Yeah, and I'm a perfectionist, so
right. This is a tough one for you.
Yeah, and the program was very structured, and I think that's something that I really needed in my life. They gave me they told me what to eat. They told me how to work out. They told me how to do all these different things to get fit, and it wasn't just to lose weight. It was actually to tone up as well, which I never thought I would want that either. I was like, there's no way I can do this. I think I'll just be okay with losing a few pounds and, we'll be good to go. But it was way more than the physical part. I had some mental challenges, physical challenges. I couldn't do push-ups forever.
Yeah, you started day one like a baby deer. Like you couldn't do anything.
Right.
Actually, a baby deer could do more than you did.
Right. And I'm the type of person where if I started working out and my heart rate would go up, I thought I'd be having a panic attack.
I'm dying.
I did all the time. Like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
That's just your heart doing what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. But my brain, I had been in therapy for 5.5 years. So I was ready to do something different with my physical part. And I think that I was mentally ready to jump into this challenge. And I lost 50 pounds in 6 months, about 6 months. And it's been the best journey. Like this group has people in there that are doing the same thing that we do. And there's some type of special bond you get with these people.
Shared trauma, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it's amazing the people you meet. And I've come out of my shell so much.
This episode is probably going to be a tad longer than normal because I want to touch on something quickly that I think is worth mentioning. And Paige had seen me get fit in this time period. So in this, I don't know, 5 to 6 year period of time where she was going through therapy, this is probably like what, 2016 or 2017 through 21. She had seen me get on diets and work my tail off and build muscle and get in really good shape. And I was doing it alone because she wanted no part of it.
Yep.
And there was this, I guess there was sort of a tension in our relationship from you, not coming from me, because I didn't care. I was going to do me. I wasn't really concerned about what you were doing, but I didn't have any support. I would get teased about what I was eating. I would get made fun of or ridiculed because
I'd get mad that you were working out when you should be hanging out with your family.
Yeah, like,
it's
you know,
silly.
so I had to make it a point to work out super early in the morning because it didn't disturb anyone else's schedule. And I just kind of did it myself. But I always wanted it to be a process of attraction rather than promotion. And that's something I think that fit people generally rub others the wrong way with, is that look at me, be like me, you can be like me. And we're sitting here saying it, but we're sitting here saying this for a different reason.
Right.
It makes you a better husband. It makes you a better wife. It makes you a better father and mother. It makes you a better leader.
It balances your life out.
Truly it does. But you've got to be ready. And so the mental piece has to come first. When the mental piece is handled, then your physical piece kind of comes with that. You know,
Right.
you've kind of cleaned up the street. Now it's time to really start building on it. And I think it's worth mentioning that you don't necessarily have to have all the support in the world to start this.
No.
Like, just because your spouse isn't on board doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Right.
You can do this. You can do this alone. Be prepared to walk your path alone. We've mentioned that before. I didn't want to get too sidetracked, but it's something that I think is worth mentioning.
Yes. Thank you.
So Paige was working her tail off, and I was just incredibly supportive. I remember watching her and just being so proud of the work that she was putting in. I mean, I would be, you know, mowing the yard or something, and I would come in and she would be like just crushing a ride on the exercise bike, like puddle of sweat on the floor. I'm like, wow, I've never seen her work this way. And then I noticed that she would be on the phone, like staring at her phone in the middle of the night, and she would be listening to this guy talk. And his name is Jeff Witherspoon, and he's the CEO of E2M Fitness. And I never paid attention to what he was saying. I was just happy that she was doing something, but in the back of my mind, I was like, it's probably going to be one of these deals where she's in it for a little while, it gets tough, and then she quits. I wasn't ever going to say that out loud, but that was my feeling because that was the experience prior.
Right.
I was brushing my teeth one night, and so Jeff goes live every single night, and he gives this really awesome, I guess, sort of a motivational talk about whatever the theme is that week, or something that he's seeing, or something that happened in his journey that he feels that he can share that's going to help his clients. She was talking, or Paige was watching this, and I was brushing my teeth and just completely ignore him. He just sounds like this country dude, kind of. And my toothbrush is electric, so I couldn't ever really hear what he was saying, but the toothbrush cut off, and I was listening, and this guy was talking about discipline, and he was talking about the diet and maybe why some things are in the diet, some things aren't, and it's about building discipline. And I stopped right then. I was looking back at her. I'm like, okay, this dude's spitting.
Yeah,
like
he did.
I am listening now. So I jumped into bed and I started listening. I had no intentions of joining up with her, but I'm like, okay, this is sound. Like, this isn't just some diet. Like, this is sound. This is sound fitness. This is what I've learned in my 7-8 year journey that I figured out the hard way. This dude's sharing it now with people. Like, this is for real. Of everything that I've tried, and I've been through it all. I've had a personal trainer. He was a personal trainer, and he was an IFBB pro. I've had, I've owned a CrossFit gym. I've been a certified instructor. I've done it on my own. I've written my own workouts. I know what I'm talking about. And this is the real deal.
Yes.
E2M Fitness is. So for her to stumble upon something that was not only working, but something that was sustainable and sound, I was floored. I was blown away. So I jumped on with her. And that's not just because I wanted to try what they were doing. I was already doing a lot of the things that they do, but that's really because I wanted to get fed. And she was cooking for herself following their diet program. And she's like, well, you're on your own if you're not eating this. So naturally, I'm like, well, I'm eating what you're eating. So just make me that.
Yeah.
And within, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I mean, I was shredded up.
Yes, you were.
My body fat is 8% right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got veins that run through my abs. I mean, I look shredded, like more than I ever thought I would ever be. And I credit their diet to doing this. Mm-hmm. It's amazing and it's sustainable. And how does this fall into our discussion of why you need fitness? So E2M, in our opinion, is the single best thing out there in the industry right now if you want to get fit and if you want to have an excellent community to support you and hold you accountable. I've said it many times that I think that E2M, their group, is probably the last pure place on the internet.
Yes,
where
it's true.
You're not going to get bullied. You're not
Nope.
going to get talked down to. You're going to find support. You will find people who would never post a picture of themselves with no shirt on. You'll see them do this, and they're getting support. And I don't just mean like cheesy, like way to go. I mean like people who are really, really following them and following their journey. We've made it a point to get out and meet some of these people here recently, and it's just been incredible. I mean, These are real, authentic people. This is everything that we're about. So this is what our fitness journey looked like. It doesn't necessarily have to be yours. I would recommend it, though. I think signups actually start here pretty soon, right?
Yeah, in like 16 days or something.
Yeah, and you can find out more on E2M Fitness. That's E2M Fitness.com. It's an excellent program. So what are you waiting for? We're gonna close it with that. What are you waiting for? We've just talked about all the endless benefits of what a fit lifestyle can do for you. What are you waiting for? I want people to beat their chest when they get done with this episode and scream, "Let's effing go."
Yes.
Like, I am ready. No matter where you're at physically, you can start today. Paige could not walk up the stairs without panting, and she found a way. The workouts are scalable.
Yep.
So whatever level of fitness you're at, there is a workout for you that will get you through it. If you're injured, they will get you through it. I have 2 badly herniated discs. On some days I can't walk, and I find a way to get it done.
Yep.
The diet alone, though, is going to get you further than you ever have before. So stop trying to do it on your own. Your past attempts have failed, and I would say statistics say they're going to keep failing unless you learn something new or unless you learn it from someone who's already done it.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to go out and educate yourself and get become a certified personal trainer, nutritionist. You can do that. You can do it that way. Or you can just use the who, not how method and just find out who has already done this and how am I going to do it. And it's out there. We're going to post photos of ourselves so you know that this is legit. Paige will post her before and afters, and I'll post mine out there too. And I want this to be so clear. We are not special.
No.
Neither of us are genetically gifted.
Nope.
I would say, in fact, the opposite. My genes say I should be heavy. Right. So do yours.
Same.
I come from a history of high cholesterol and all kinds of, I guess you could call them weight related ailments.
Yes.
I didn't grow up in a fit family. My parents weren't fit. I don't have a history of it whatsoever. And we figured it out. So if you see a photo of us and you're like, oh, they're just fit people, dude, back up.
Yeah.
Back up. That is not true.
Nope.
We became this way. We wanted more for ourselves. And I'm saying this because anyone can do it. And if you're listening, you can do it too.
You're going to make me cry.
You can do it too. Paige, I never thought would look the way. Paige has abs.
I have a lot of extra skin, but yes, I have abs.
I mean, she's in tears right now. I mean, this is real stuff that we're talking about. We're not one of those couples that have always been fit, and it was just like second nature, and it was easy for us. Hell no, we did the work.
We got out of our comfort zone and we worked our asses off.
Yeah, and you too can do it too, and we're here to support you. There's hundreds of thousands of other people in that group that are there to support you, and so I set out early on in my journey years and years ago just to get rid of my man boobs. Like, that's what I was after. I just wanted my shirt to fit better. But what I actually got was a sense of pride and confidence that nothing can ever touch. Yeah. And it's put me at a level in my life and my leadership that it would have taken me decades to achieve otherwise. Yep. It accelerated and supercharged my personal growth and my spiritual growth and my mental growth far more than I could have ever done reading books and not factoring in this fitness piece. And Paige, the same way. I think that you're healthier all around than you've ever been, not just physically, but
right.
mentally and spiritually. Yep. And it all comes, it encompasses it, right? So,
yep.
So, the trident, you have a mental aspect to yourself. You've got a physical aspect and you've got a spiritual aspect, and fitness, it really coincides with all three, like a lot of the stuff that we talk about on this podcast. So the reflection in the mirror is cool and all, but the rewards for your mindset are going to be far greater. And you're unlikely to encounter a challenge after you've set on this path that you're not going to be able to conquer. So get out there and get it. Until next time, I am Matt.
And I'm Paige.
And thanks for joining us.
Bye.